Hello. So I hated how that last video looked, so we're gonna have the car on and we're gonna have the light on. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to talk about a book, and I was gonna do one book, but I saw which book is up next, and so I want to do two because I feel like I don't have much to say about this next book. Like, it's influential for me. Because you'll see, it's influential for me, but like it's not as much as the book that's after it, and I feel like it would just be better uh, for my own morale with the series if I did the two. So we're gonna start with this one. It is called Catwings by Ursula LeGuin. And this book and that author are influential to me for separate reasons. So the book that is influential, the Catwings, it's one that I read when I was like a little kid, and now as an adult, anytime anyone brings up a children's cat book series, that is the book series that comes to mind. I don't even remember what happens in the other three books. I know I read them. I don't remember what happens in them. I barely remember what happens in the first book, and the premise is basically like there are cats and they were born with like a weird, they don't call it a mutation, but a mutation where they have wings. And they live on a farm, and like a little girl takes care of them. And they have little adventures, and they're little cat wings. Very cute, very kids book. Unfortunately for me, because I think of it every time somebody's like, oh yeah, cat, there's this book series that's for kids and it's got cats in it, or there's this book series with cats, and so immediately I'll be like, yeah, I read that, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what they're talking about, because, well, I kind of do now, but like I didn't before. I immediately was like, oh yeah, Catwings, cat book series, cats. So immediately associated with that. So immediately I'm like, oh yeah, no, I've read that. I enjoyed that. That's not what they're talking about. That is not what they're talking about. They are not talking about Catwings. I primarily have heard it from my cousin Samuel. There's a series called Cat Warriors. I have not read it. Somebody has animated it, and he really liked the animation of it. He and his girlfriend really liked the animation of it, and they tried to show it to me, and it was interesting. Not sure it was really for me, just because it was not sad, but sad. Is that somebody coming to check on me? Because I'm sitting here. 1 second. It was somebody wondering what I was doing, and I'm glad I got the camera, because that was awkward. Okay, so, but, like, my cousin really liked I think he likes the books. I don't know if he likes he probably, I don't know. I know he liked, it's on YouTube, and they tried to show it to me, and it was a little sad, I think, or, like, it's violent, with cats, and I don't know if it wasn't really my vibe because I'm weird about that kind of thing. But it was interesting, and I might look up more. I appreciate them a lot for showing it to me, because they liked it enough that they wanted to show it to me, and that means the world to me. I love when they want to share things with me, even if it's not my vibe. So like, that's perfectly fine. But when they asked me about it, I was like, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I know what series you're talking about. I didn't. I had no clue, because I thought it was Catwings. It's not Catwings. So it's influential to me, because every time now, apparently, if somebody says there's a children's series, I'm sorry, I got a text message, so it probably vibrated a little bit and made a noise. But anytime somebody is like, oh yeah, there's this series, it's got cats, it's a kids series, but it's kind of weird, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know what it is. No one's ever talking about Catwings. No one is telling me about Catwings. No one's like, hey, have you read Catwings? No one's doing that. They're talking about like Cat Warriors, or I think there's another series out there with cats in it, and they're never talking about Catwings. And I'm just like, immediately, and I'm not trying to lie, it's just that immediately I think that I know what they're talking about. So I'm like, yes, I also know this thing. No one's trying to talk to me about Catwings. I barely remember it too. It was so long ago when I read it. But apparently it's just right in my brain. Let's see. And the other part of that is that the author is Ursula K. LeGuin. And she is influential to me. I want to read more of her work. I do want to read more of her work. But when I was in college, we had an assignment where we had to read a certain amount of short stories, and then when we were done with the short stories, the instructor, I don't think they were officially a professor, the instructor, asked us to, like, it was a creative exercise, because it was like critical thinking with creative exercise. So they were like, pick one story from what you read, obviously summarize it, go through the details, tell us what the author was trying to convey, all that fun stuff. And then they're like, and then what you're going to do is you're going to describe how you would change the ending, and not so much not so much rewrite the ending, but describe how you would rewrite the ending. And that stuck with me because the story that stood out to me during that assignment was an Ursula K. Le Guin story. It was a short story, and unfortunately, I no longer have that textbook. And I don't remember what story it was, but it was about a guy who was a werewolf, and his wife found out, and like she turned on him. That's the one that I read, and that's the one I was like, hey, here's what the author wrote, here's what I think that she was like going after, which was like classic folklore for werewolves, plus like the social constructs of like how a marriage could fall apart based off of social stigma. So I wrote about that, and then I was like, here's how I would change it. And I, being a person that likes werewolf literature, obviously it was like, I would have the wife support the husband. That's not at all what like hits harder for like a social construct, but it makes me happy. And it's romanticized a little bit, and you know what, life needs a little romanticism. So so that's how I said I would do it. I got an A on that assignment. I got A's in most of my assignments for English because it's English class. But like, I will never forget that I got to deep dive into one of her short stories, really think about what she was really trying to say, and I got to like go over one of her short stories over and over, trying to like really understand the depth of it, and then I got to put my own spin on it just for an assignment. And I got to like consider what the contrast was. And so forever I am going to associate her with my college experience, which I enjoyed. So I obviously really enjoyed her, and I really enjoyed that story. I don't remember what it was called, otherwise it would be in this list. And I'm not very good at looking up stories because I can never seem to find them. Maybe I should do a little series about like books that I kind of remember, but I don't know the title or the author. I know the author for this one, I just don't know the title. But yeah, I'm gonna do one more book. And here's what this book looks like. Catwings! Catwings!